What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, September 19th edition, post-Monday Night Raw, brought to you by DraftBeast.com and on it. Guys, go to DraftBeast.com for the most fun fantasy football experience, most fun fantasy sports experience that you will ever have. You can go there and play their goon games that I speak so highly of, where you pick the most penalized players. You can play traditional daily fantasy sports. Also, games where you pick the worst possible team. Also, go to Onnit or support us via Onnit, rather. You can go to our podcast page, Fightful.com/podcast, soon to be revamped with a full schedule of our shows. Open up any of those podcasts, and you'll see that big blue Onnit link, and you can check out their equipment, their apparel, their supplies, anything from Onnit that you get through that link really helps us out. We had Monday Night Raw tonight, the go-home show for Clash of Champions. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski, who covered the show. Alex, how are you?
Not great after that Raw. That was hard to get through.
Yeah, at like 9:15, I was like, well, I need to set up the podcast post because I thought it was 10 something. It was not.
Nope.
It was a very long first hour. We're also joined by Crazy K, giving him a shot here on the Fightful.com podcast. You may have seen him on any number of television shows that I came to realize. Crazy K, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys, for welcoming me for today's show.
Crazy K is in the actual dungeon.
That's right.
The dungeon of Bret the Hitman Hart and Stu Hart.
That's right. This is exactly where he trained and got stretched out. Jericho was laid out over there one time. Benoit was over there. Oh, I can't even say his name. That's right. That wrestler.
I know one thing. If I ever get into the kidnapping business, I know right where I'm going. I'm going to where you're broadcasting this podcast from.
That's right. Really dark, really dingy. A lot of dripping water.
Either way, glad to have you on the show. Look forward to your insight on tonight's show. We got a guy who's involved in wrestling and myself. We got a guy who's involved in theater and Alex, and a guy who's been on numerous TV shows in Crazy K. So excited for this. And guys, as always, our hosts, except for me, because you can't get rid of me. I set up the thing. So you can't get rid of me, guys. But these two guys, you never know. They might be on the chopping block, Yamaguchi-san style. Or I guess that would be Val Venus style. We're not going to go that far.
Nope.
But this episode of Raw, oh boy. I'll say this, at least, guys, if you all want to, you can go to Fightful.com and read Alex's report on it because it's a lot better than the actual show. Even if the show sucks, Alex does something entertaining for it.
Yeah, the bar tonight was not very difficult to clear. There was not a good show.
We had Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley out, and Roman Reigns is with them, and he's sad. He's upset. He's not happy about last week. What eventually happens is he's granted a match at Clash of Champions with Rusev for the United States Championship and a cage match tonight with Kevin Owens. Also, Seth Rollins will have to face Rusev up next. Are they planting – what's up with Seth Rollins? Is he a babyface? Is he going towards a babyface, Alex? What do you see? What's going on with Seth Rollins?
Well, it seems to me that they're trying to do a slow build to it, but if so, they're botching it horribly because there are so many telltale signs of his turn happening. They're not going all the way through with it. Like him being emasculated by Stephanie McMahon later, that's a confirmed babyface turn. We'll get
Hold on now. Stephanie McMahon does not discriminate.
That's true.
Faces, heels, who she emasculates.
That's true. It's pretty much
even comedian Jon Stewart. Like me picking on Kay about his background. That was a direct order from Stephanie McMahon. Yeah. I had to do it. She demanded it.
Yeah.
Kelvin, what do you make, or Kay, what do you make of the Stephanie McMahon dressing everybody down every week?
It's tired. It's tired. We've seen it done over and over. Nothing's new about it. I was expecting the slap. I was like, here we go. She's going to slap Seth. It's going to happen. But I was surprised it didn't happen this time.
Yeah, we were slapless tonight, but almost. Either way, Seth Rollins versus Rusev. This ended in a double countout. In my opinion, Kay, this was the right move to make because you got these two guys going into big matches at Clash of Champions. I don't know if you want to beat either one of these guys. Alex, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree. Double countout is a good way to go. I felt that the match then was pointless. It was entirely pointless from the very beginning. Mick says, I'm going to punish you, Seth, for running in and causing a commotion last week. I'm going to punish you by having you go against the same guy who did the same thing last week in a match that's not for the title, so it doesn't matter. Like, why wouldn't both guys just go, you know what, see ya, we both got matches in 6 days, let's not hurt ourselves. Like, there's nothing happened. It's just there. And that kind of happened for the entire night. There was a lot of stuff. We had a cage match with 0 stakes because it's the new era, I guess.
Yeah, that's another thing I'll bring up later is how little of this show made sense from a booking perspective. Like, why would – I'll put it this way. And maybe, Kelvin, maybe you could dream up something here. Why in the hell would Kevin Owens even compete in this match in the main event? Why wouldn't he sit down cross-legged in the middle of the ring and say, go ahead, Roman, leave? What does he lose by losing?
Yeah, it's a non-title match. There was no stakes. I didn't even see a point of having the referee in the cage. It's a cage match. But thank goodness they didn't botch that ending where somebody got double counted or something because we've seen that before. But even before that, let's even go back to last week's opening Raw where the whole thing was a Divas segment, which is garbage. At least this week it was like, okay, we have something. It's the first 30 minutes was not bad. But it was just better than last week.
That doesn't take a lot. We had this Dana Brooke, Charlotte Mick Foley situation. Yeah. And this just boggled my mind, this whole thing. Last week, there was the double pin, Sasha Banks and Bayley. But Bayley didn't actually pin anybody. It was very much a Shawn Michaels Triple H situation from the last Raw of 2003 or whatever it was, where Shawn Michaels was pinned, but not by Triple H. He pinned himself. This was a situation with Sasha Banks and Bayley last week. Here's the difference. There's a third person in this match who didn't get pinned. Meanwhile, Bayley and Sasha Banks did get pinned. So the one person who did not lose the match, the one person who didn't get pinned, is not in the title match. Now, I heard people say, Sean, Bayley beat Charlotte. I don't give a damn if she beat Charlotte. I don't give a damn if she dug Moolah up and beat her. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. That was not a number one contender match. Last week's match was the number one contender match. And you know what? I'm thrilled that I don't have to watch Dana Brooke in a title match, but she didn't lose the match. She was the only person who didn't lose the match. Bayley didn't pin anybody. Not a single person. Sasha Banks pinned somebody. I don't know. I didn't get this. Kay, does this make any sense to you? What's going on?
I think anything with divas is not supposed to make sense at all.
Hey, they're not divas. They're not divas anymore.
Right. The women's division or whatever. So last week, we the last thing we saw was Dana Brooke smacked Charlotte. And then this week, we're just like, let's forget about that part. Today, she gets pushed down by Charlotte and nothing happens. Are they trying to push some sort of breakup separation, or are they trying to forget about last week? Why does nothing make sense in this division? Why? I don't understand.
Alex, your thoughts? How do you feel about the double pin situation and that? I mean, well, you can play devil's advocate if you want. I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. When it happened, like half the internet was like, double pin, what's going on, double pin, and they didn't address it that night. Then Bayley tweeted out like, oh, Sasha was the better woman tonight, but I'll get you later, best buddy. And we just went away. And then I thought it was a great way to have Dana come out and say, hey, look, look, both of them are pinned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, hey, how about this? How about instead of you and me, Charlotte, getting involved tonight, how about we have Sasha and Bayley wrestle each other? And that's okay. That's fine. Winner becomes number one contender. But they didn't do that either. Mick just said, you know what? I'm going to just decide to put Bayley in the match too for no apparent reason. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying that Bayley didn't pin anybody either. But I personally would have liked to have seen a Sasha versus Bayley one-on-one for the number one contendership. If they had done that, I would have had no problem with it. But just giving the thing to Bayley out of the blue seemed weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that. She didn't pin anybody. And that's just weird to me. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube, people always ask us what's the best way to watch. It always helps us more if you watch on Fightful.com. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube page and give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. We have tons of exclusive stuff that goes up on Fightful.com. Interviews with the likes of CM Punk, Chael Sonnen, and Daniel Cormier, Muhammad Hassan. I'm republishing my Finding Muhammad Hassan article with a little bit of revisited basically behind the scenes type of stuff about how that story came together. And I'm doing a follow-up very soon, so stay on the lookout for that. If you all didn't see Brandon Howard's exclusive analysis of how the first WWE brand split affected pay-per-view buys, go check that out. That's highlighted on the main page. Also, a little something about me and Matt Riddle correctly predicting the future. Just normal stuff about how we know everything and how it goes. That's just how it is. That's what you get on the Thursday Fightful.com Genius Cast between myself and Matt Riddle. So we eventually got that tag match. Charlotte got the win. I'm glad Charlotte got the win. She got booted by Dana because you got to have the champ look strong going into that pay-per-view. I'm cool with that. A guy who's been looking very strong lately is one Braun Strowman. Kay, what's Braun Strowman do for you?
He's like he squashed Sin Cara like nothing. Sin Cara is pretty for he's not bad, but he just made him look like a pancake. But I mean, he's like that kind of guy you when you hear his music come on, you're like, oh boy, I was just about to get popcorn. I'll just wait. I'll watch. I'll see what happens. It is entertainment. Even though it was kind of a bit slow, I kind of I made my little notes. I said 2 out of 4 stars because it was still entertainment, but it wasn't fantastic. If he destroyed him and I don't know, did a Brock a la Rey Mysterio and smashed him against a post or something, yeah, maybe. But it was good, but it's a squash, just a full squash.
I'm okay with the Braun Strowman squashes. It takes up a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But Alex, I have noticed that he's slowly but surely doing some different stuff in the ring.
Yeah. No, this is the third different finisher that he's pulled out. This running, Oklahoma slam thing that he did, that was nice. Directly out of a springboard moonsault he's showing a lot of different stuff in the ring. They just don't seem to be able to move him forward at all because Sin Cara is the most formidable opponent he's faced, and he's at the bottom of the list of regular guys on the show who aren't just jobbers. So, yeah, it's yeah. He also wrestled Sin Cara 2 weeks ago, and that was the count out. And then last week he wrestled him on Superstars. So it's just not one of those things that they figure they're just going to give us the same pairings over and over and over and over again until we just submit to their will.
I was hoping when the count out thing happened, Alex, I was hoping he was going full berserker.
That would be nice.
Where he just beat people by count out.
Yeah.
Do you remember where he would just heave people over the top rope with no abandon?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like
that's a way to win a match. Beat the guy
so
much since that he's outside of the ring and can't answer the bell. That's a way to win a match, but you never see it.
Science has come such a long way. We have many more advances in like spinal fusion and things like that since the days of the Berserker. Maybe we can do that again. I would be cool if a guy just every week won by pure luck. Like 1 week somebody slips on a banana peel. The next week, Like, I don't know, somebody craps their pants and just accepts the pinfall. Like, whatever it takes for this person. Bo Dallas would have been perfect during his initial undefeated run. Like, he wins because somebody else gets the opposing guy DQ'd. Just anything. And then it carries all the way until they just get squashed by somebody. That's what I'd be cool with. Let's see. What was next? Well, we've had a lot of Chris Jericho backstage. He's making a list, Kay. What do you think is on the list?
Armbar. Actually,
this is the second best list he has ever created.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. I was waiting for him to read the rest of the list. I was hoping that we'd get through it at least a couple holes up to a commercial where we'd be like, what is he saying next? But I like the interruptions. I like this whole salad bowl of all these guys coming in. Then we just had this big super 5-on-5 match. I was all right. I was entertained with that.
Yeah, this whole Chris Jericho thing, that is what it led to. It led to a way to get New Day, Anderson and Gallows, the Shining Stars, Enzo and Cass all on the show. We had this 10-man tag that meant a whole lot of nothing, Alex, which is what you reiterated earlier. Hey, it got the people on the mic that needed to be on the mic, and that's really it.
Yeah, well, they realized, well, wow, we don't have enough time to do to touch on all the matches we're going to throw in.
Could you imagine not having enough time on a 3-hour show?
That's apparently what happens when you have 15 different backstage segments and not a lot of wrestling. So when Jericho comes out there, he's doing a bit that is about him and Owens and Foley, and then Enzo and Cass come out, which I'm fine with because they have a history with Jericho. But then the Shining Stars come out because they're doing something with Enzo and Cass, and at that point it's just like, oh my God, let's count the interruptions, because it was like 6. I mean, over and over and over and over again, and I was done. I was done by at the point where the Shining Stars interrupted Enzo and Cass. I was just I'm done. And then New Day, and then the Club, and then Sami Zayn, and then why not have a tag team match, playa? Because that's what we do in these situations. It was just awful.
So we have 3 people on this show, and usually that means it runs a little bit longer. We're already halfway through Raw.
We skipped some stuff,
though. Yeah, it's just, man, there was so much inconsequential stuff, and I hate this. I hate this. Like, there are a few things I like more in life than disagreeing with my Friday co-host, Vince Russo. Few things, as many of you found out. Alex, do you know how many tweets I got this weekend saying, you need to respect Vince Russo. You need to respect him. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right,
okay.
I need to respect him. My boss pays him. My boss pays him to be on the show.
Is that how they said it? You need to respect him. Is that the exact voice?
That's how I imagined. I never block people. I never block people unless they attack me personally or anything like that, because I don't care if they disagree with me about wrestling. Cool, it's subjective entertainment. People can disagree with me about wrestling all they want. But man, if somebody attacks you personally, especially because I disagreed with somebody else about wrestling, man, that's weird. I got a lot of that this weekend. And me and Vince are friends, but I got a lot of it. There's a lot that I like to disagree with Vince about, but there's just so much inconsequential crap on this show and it really seems like, to Vince's point that he makes a lot, it seems like on nights like this, in football season, go-home shows, that they were just throwing in the towel. Monday Night Football's only throwing the towel. Now, Alex, I'll ask you this. Actually, I'll direct this one to Kay first. Tonight, they threw in the towel. Next Monday, they have Monday Night Football and a presidential debate. That's going to be fun because you've got a guy in Donald Trump who I may not agree with politically, but he's more sports entertainment than a lot of what WWE is doing right now. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah. My thought was that they just said, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to try. No one's watching, so we're going to put together the barest of minimum things that we can do. They had a couple of stuff that everything on this show either didn't matter or kept the status quo going into Clash of Champions. There was nothing changed. The only thing that changed was that Mick Foley arbitrarily decided to add Bayley into that match. But that's it. Everything else, you didn't need to watch this at all. There was nothing that happened. I mean, we got a number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. That match was great, but that was an hour. That was 2 hours into a 3-hour show. They first started that thing.
I'm not just saying this to plug Fightful.com, the world's leader in crossover mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, and boxing coverage. But you could have went to Fightful.com and learned everything you needed to know about Raw. Nothing happened.
Yep.
You had some matches announced for Sunday. That's it. By the way, if you go to Fightful.com and register, absolutely free, by the way, my friends, you get access to our forums, which are being overhauled. Early access to podcasts like the ones I do with Vince Russo, Showdown Joe, Matt Riddle. You get exclusive columns from Vince Russo and Showdown Joe. I should get Matt Riddle to write a column. That would be hilarious.
That would be.
I'm sure that wouldn't be terrible. I should just get him to write one about British people. That's what I need to do. Kay, we had a Bo Dallas squash match. Are you buying in to Bo Dallas squashing fools?
Believe in Bo. I'm liking where this is going, because I wish in this angle of his he grew facial hair instead, so he's showing he meant business. He's changing it up. But then I thought more about him, like, oh, he looked too much like his brother, and then people start connecting the dots. So maybe just a mustache or something, but no, maybe no beard. But yeah, I'm liking it.
Thought of that.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
I don't know if Bo can grow a beard. That's as much of a baby face as I've ever seen on a heel. But I am liking the stuff, especially when they're giving him jobbers who look like they're straight off of WCW Saturday Night. That guy's hair was on point. If it's in 1992, that was great. Gary Graham.
Yes.
But the thing he's still wearing that social outfit.
He has hair. He has hair that rivals that of Kick and Wing from Joe Dirt, and they look just alike, by the way.
Yeah.
Just alike. Like,
yeah.
If I didn't know that Mike Rotunda was his father, I would say that it was Chief Jay Strongbow's kid instead. Because before he had that tan, I was like, man, he looks just like Adam Beach, who played Kick and Wing in Joe Dirt. But Bo Dallas is squashing fools, Alex.
He is. He's wearing the same Social Outcast singlet. So he hasn't changed his gear in any way or his look. He's still coming. He's doing the election sign gimmick, which seems to be a direct contradiction to his poetry slam / jobber squash. Like, I don't understand how all that stuff rolls together, which is why I'm hoping maybe there's a hard reboot of his look coming. Like, something's going to happen. Maybe when Luke Harper comes back, they join forces and there's something new. Have them and Braun Strowman join together, and it's a new version of the Wyatt family that doesn't inquire, Swamp Billy mysticism. It's just three dudes who like beating up people. That would be fine with me. But they got to do something with him, because just having him come out midway through the second hour and squash a dude who looks like he's from WCW Saturday Night, that does nothing except eat up 6 minutes of runtime, and you don't have time to do that because you can't have tag matches between the guys who are going to win the pay-per-view. So,
also they didn't have time for this newfound tag team of Jinder Mahal and Titus O'Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How dare they relegate this to superstars? How dare they deny us the opportunity to see Titus O'Neil and Jinder Mahal go at it?
When they arbitrarily pair dudes together, I so want to see a deleted scene of how they got together, like over catering.
Oh, yeah.
Like Titus O'Neil gets the chicken curry and Jinder Mahal's like, "Hey, me too."
Did you ever see the breakup angle? The breakup angle that they did with Rybaxel?
No, I missed that.
Oh my God, it was the greatest thing. Kay, did you ever see that?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, it was so awesome. They're backstage and they just run into each other and it's so cheesy. You have to watch it. They're just like, well, I guess we're going our separate ways, huh? And they had this really awkward, funny exchange where they're like, it's such an amicable split. And oh my God, it's so good. Ryback and Curtis Axel together could have been very funny. I don't think they could have been like a dominant tag team or anything like that, but they were really funny. I think Ryback's an underrated hand. Like when I don't like a lot of his promos and stuff, but I love the bully stuff. I don't know if he should be saying big guys are getting punished in WWE, but yeah, I think maybe he wasn't used to his fullest ability. But either way, speaking of, Sheamus and Cesaro, match 6 of 7. After the first match, I was like, cool, maybe I'll like this. Maybe this will be okay because they beat the living shit out of each other every single time. Right now, I'm just like, okay, this doesn't matter. I know who's going to win. I know we're going to have their match at Night of Champions. Alex, you covered it. You've covered all of them except for the one in London, which, I mean, you still kind of covered.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, your thoughts on this and that whole situation?
My thought was that if you're going to do a best of 7, you have to have them trade matches the entire way. Because if it's wrestling, we all know it's predetermined. We do. We're smart enough to realize that. So if you have Sheamus go up 3-0, you know for a fact Cesaro is going to win the next 3 matches before they have the finale on pay-per-view. Because they're not going to end it after 5 or 6. It's just not going to happen. So if you had Sheamus win the first, Cesaro win the second, third, fourth, and then if they're tied 3-3 because they've been close the whole time, and you had both guys at full strength the whole time, not relying on a phantom back injury to tell the story through all the matches, then I probably would be behind it. But at this point, I just want it to be over.
Yeah, I do too. Is anything on the line for this, Alex? Did they announce?
They said something way back when it started, a title opportunity.
But you know what they need? They need is a unique opportunity. Dario Cueto in this bitch.
That would be good.
Handing out some unique opportunities.
Yeah.
Kay, do you ever watch any Lucha Underground?
No. You're
missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out. Some fun. Sometimes you're missing out.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Is Sheamus versus Cesaro, is that getting your blood pumping? Whether it be the 6th or 7th match?
This 6th match. This match, for the whole the Raw show, I enjoyed it because on this particular show, I'm grabbing for straws. I'm looking for something good. And this time I was entertained. I liked Sheamus coming out. His entrance was good. His hair stood on point the whole match. And then at the end, I felt so bad because Cesaro kind of had this sloppy finish, and it kind of looked awkward when he did the uppercut, and then he went in, and it was like, I felt so bad for him. But the match was decent. I was entertained. I wasn't gonna give it. It was up to a point. I'm like, it's good, 4 stars, and then I was like, 3.
4 stars.
I was for this show. I'm salvaging what we have for Raw. This Raw was
grading on a curve.
Grading
on a curve.
This Raw was garbage. I'm looking for anything to make it good. If you're eating a bad pasta and all of a sudden you get this nice meatball, like, you know what, that pasta wasn't so bad. That meatball was good. So I'm gonna take this meatball. It was good. Just that.
It's like I would liken you giving this 4 stars to if you ate $1 Michelina dinner out of the freezer of your local grocer right after you were forced to eat a giant nugget of shit.
Yes.
Because anything in comparison to that shit is going to be like 4 stars.
Yes.
But I'll say this. These two are always pretty good in the ring together. There's that. It's just we're not given any reason to care.
Right. I would not mind seeing these guys fight for something that meaningful, but especially if the outcome isn't in doubt. At this point, with Sheamus up 3-2, we all knew Cesaro was going to win. So how he got there really didn't matter to me. On Sunday, honestly, I would not be surprised if they gave it to Sheamus. So either way, I will be surprised whoever wins. So that I'll be interested on Sunday, but I wasn't tonight.
We have the Cruiserweight introduction. This was a really mixed bag. TJ Perkins, the Cruiserweight champion, was not on Raw. He was on the pre-show. That's weird to me. That's really weird. You had the Divas Revolution style forced authority figures saying, here are these guys. This is what they're good at. Hot diggity damn. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was really weird. They also announced that there would be a fatal four-way match to determine a number one contender. Sure, cool with that. Grand Metalik, Cedric Alexander, Brian Kendrick, Rich Swann. This is going to be a lot of what you see in the Cruiserweight division, you guys. You're going to see them eating a lot of time, and it's going to be a little bit different than when a Cesaro Sheamus has to eat a lot of time, because they're going to do Sheamus and Cesaro can do some incredible things, like that Irish curse into a back, or the Celtic cross into the backbreaker. Super cool stuff from Sheamus. Cesaro does crazy feats of strength, but a lot of the times we've seen that. You'll see stuff out of the Cruiserweights you may have not ever seen in WWE. I thought the match was fun, but I thought that the crowd was ready for it to end way before it ended. By the way, the ending was Brian Kendrick defeating Cedric Alexander. Kay, what did you think of the match?
I was excited to see this happen on Raw. I was thinking, wow, here we go. We have everybody on the Nitro set over by the stage, and now we have Cruiserweights eating up lots of time, just like Nitro. So
we need Mongo.
So
that's like the one thing they could find to make this show less consequential would be Mongo.
Yeah, Mongo. So I thought that Rick Swann and Cedric Alexander, they carried this match. Grand Metalik, he was there, but he'd pop in and corpse outside. Brian Kendrick was there, corpse outside for the entire match. And then these guys are putting on a pretty good show. I was really impressed with Alexander. I was like, wow, this guy is. I've never seen animals, dolphins. I've never seen a guy do what Alexander did by doing that leap outside and landing on his feet like nothing. Not even like an injury to his knee. Sometimes you can see somebody.
Oh yeah,
he just did it so seamlessly. I was really impressed.
When he hit that, I tweeted, yeah, Cedric's gonna be fine. He got in great shape for his WWE run. He looked like just another guy in Ring of Honor. Not just another guy, I don't want to say that. But granted, he was in that shitty Veda Scott storyline. And all due respect to her, not the person I want to hear on the mic. Like, it was real bad, that stuff. He came to WWE and made an impression. Alex, what did you think of the way they were introduced? That was weird to me.
It was bad. I mean, you had Mick Foley come out there and he was flubbing his lines. He didn't know whether he had said the cliche right, the size of the dog or the fight of the dog. Like, he was second guessing himself. And he kept saying things like, I know these guys are small, but don't be fooled. They're really good. And I was like, you don't need to say that. Like, this isn't 1994. These guys, like, just bring them out, have them do the things that they have been doing for since July every Wednesday, and people will respect them. You don't have to like beg people to respect them.
It's way easier than it was 20 years ago, because a little thing called the UFC exists, and now there is no longer this facade that roided up 300-pound people are the baddest dudes on the planet. Because outside of Shane Carwin and Brock Lesnar over the past 10 years, there have been no big steroided out 265 to 300 pounders that have proven themselves to be the baddest dudes in the world. It's a guy like Conor McGregor, who fights at 145 pounds, or George St. Pierre at 170. That's just the way it is. And you know what? I'm excited to hear, Alex, and I tweeted this. I can't wait to hear dumb people say, oh, the Cruiserweight style is so unrealistic and they have to sell. And I'll say to them, when the hell, if you're talking about realistic, when do you see MMA fighters sell? That's real. They don't sell. Also, that's unrealistic. I watch Anthony Pettis run off a damn cage and kick people in the face and then do somersault kicks. I watched Fabricio Verdum, who was 242 pounds and 39 years old, leap across the cage and land a flying kick to the face to open up a match. There's nothing unrealistic about it. It's another facet of a variety show of entertainment. And that's what I like. Are you excited, Kay, to see what the Cruiserweights will add at least?
Yes, even though I kind of think it belongs on SmackDown. That's kind of that thing. But
it traditionally was on there, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
But Raw does have they have a lot of time to chew up on Raw, though.
Yes, plenty, apparently.
So Brian Kendrick won, and this is purely me speculating, although I'm definitely going to ask around. I would imagine that Vince McMahon said, well, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'm going with.
Well, I mean, that
also, he was really the only heel in the match, too.
Right. He was working heel the entire match. He worked heel through the entire tournament. He's really the only heel they had coming out of the tournament. There are a lot of guys they have that are signed to Raw now that you can turn heel and make wrestle heel that would totally work. I think Jack Gallagher as a cocky heel would be great. But I think it's a really great thing to bring in people who may not be used to this kind of indie type wrestling to see TJP as this, well, it would have been nice if you had actually introduced your champion on Raw, but since they didn't do that, you have him be your baby face and have Kendrick, who really was just entirely opportunistic in this match, like hanging out outside, running in, trying to get like quick covers on stuff. He took advantage of of everybody being on the outside and putting his what they call now the captain's hook, the bully choke on Alexander for the win. I liked how everybody kind of worked different styles of stuff, and as far as the selling goes, there were some, I mean, maybe not like cumulative, but in the moment, Cedric Alexander sold some stuff tonight really well. A couple of shots from Rich Swann that looked like they just killed him. And, I mean, I think that these guys are going to get over because they all know how to do that. It's going to be pretty cool over the next few weeks to see what happens.
My two minor complaints about the match, like I said, they had to chew up time. They had to chew up a lot of time. But the crowd was ready for it to end earlier. They don't have that luxury to end when they want. Also would have had Kendrick beat probably Rich Swann.
Yeah.
I mean, just because now relative to Monday Night Raw means jack shit. It really doesn't. So what Cedric Alexander looked like and him looking like a star at Full Sail means nothing on Raw, but he did have a little bit of momentum among those people. So Kay, you mentioned that Cedric and Rich Swann really carried the match. What did you think of Kendrick at age, I think, 37? Do you think he still got it?
Kendrick at age 37.
Isn't that weird to think and weird to say?
And his last, when he got his termination was July 2009. So he was like 600 X amount of days. He thought he was over.
A hell of a lot more than 600.
Yeah, it's like
that'd be a year and a half ago.
I think he said 2,600, but yeah.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 2,600 something
He's
days.
a former interim WWE champion.
That's right. That's right. He was also named Spanky, if I remember correctly.
Hell of a name.
Yeah, so I do like it. I'm really excited to see where he's going to go with this. I want to see what happens when he faces TJ Perkins at Nighted Champions. I think that they're choosing correctly because we want to see Swann and Metallic and Alexander build. You can't throw them in and get the title quick. I want to see them build. I want to see where they go. So I want to see Kendrick really take it. Age 37, clearly political. It was a political, let's put him in the title shot. That makes sense.
Well, I think it's just the guy that Vince was familiar with. That's my assumption.
I agree with that one. Yeah.
Alex, we had this main event, and I didn't think it was as good as last week's.
Nope.
Like, not even close.
No.
Although I did want Roman Reigns to lift up Kevin Owens and dart him into the cage so they could call it the Roman candle.
Nice.
Oh,
I was ready for it.
That's good.
You seem so entertained by that, Alex. You mean to tell me that's not going to make it into your raw uncooked reaction?
It may indeed.
If you don't Photoshop him shooting a Roman candle into something, then what are we even doing with this website?
I don't even know. I thought that the match was not as good as last week because they used the cage as a crutch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the thing about it is that if this match was like, if they had a series of matches that were all inconclusive, or there was a lot of run-ins, or it was like the fourth time they had fought at pay-per-views this year, and they wanted to add a steel cage to it, and it was really for something, fine. All that cage stuff adds to it because they've already been beating each other up for months or whatever. In this one, it was just like these two guys who were fighting in a cage for no reason. You know, just banging people's head off a chain link for no reason doesn't do anything for me. Like, if the title was on the line,
to bang somebody's head off a chain link.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or at least I felt that way after last week's Friday's podcast. By the way, guys, if you all missed it, myself and Showdown Joe did a show on Sunday afternoon at noon talking about the Triple G fight, or not the Triple G fight, the Canelo fight, as well as UFC Fight Night. Joe will be gone this Saturday. He is in Japan covering Ryzen. So I guess I'm going solo. Maybe I can get some of my fight teammates to cover this UFC show with me. Lots of stuff to talk about there. But me and Joe may or may not be in our regularly scheduled time slot on Wednesday because, like I said, he will be in Japan. But I know that he won't be here Saturday. But he is going to write a feature about his experience in Japan at Ryzen. So, yeah, definitely stay on the lookout for that. Register at Fightful.com, absolutely free to check that out. There was a bit of a tease here at the end. Seth Rollins coming to the aid of Roman Reigns. Kay, you've got Reigns and Rollins on Raw, Ambrose on SmackDown. What's the point of this?
I have no idea. I think I just want to touch on this whole cage thing. The whole match was pointless. Again, it was like pretty much Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The whole movie could have still carried on without him. So this Rollins part, this whole cage thing was a setup for just Rollins to come in and do this run-in. The only spectacle of the part was when he jumped off the top of the cage onto both Rusev and Owens, and that was it. Then we cut the credits, and that's the whole thing. I don't think he's there to save Roman. It has nothing. It doesn't make any sense of him saving Roman. He's just trying to stick it to Stephanie and do his I want to go against the authority now, and you guys are against me, and whoever you like, I'm going to be against you. That's what I'm guessing.
Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all of that makes perfect sense, which is why it doesn't make sense for it to be Raw. Because, I mean, here's the thing. What actually makes sense is for Rollins to just sit in the back and watch this on a monitor if he doesn't care about Roman. I mean, because he's got a match this Sunday Clash of Champions. So he should just wait and fight Owens then. Like, he already settled things between him and Rusev. He jumped off the thing. He got the better of him by cross-bodying him off of the announce table to the floor. That's it. That's done. Move on. Owens, he can settle this thing at Clash of Champions. There's no reason for him to run in unless he's saving Roman. But by not having them interact, it's kind of like, oh, well, then why did he do this to begin with? The whole thing was pointless. My favorite little thing, I don't know if anybody caught this, but as they were both trying to get out of the cage for the finish, Owens had to sell that he was too fat to get through the door in order for Roman to jump off the cage in time to win the match, because he was so near the door so much earlier than Roman was over the edge that he just was like, I can't get through. It was like Pooh trying to get into the to Rabbit's house, if you remember the old Disney movie. But like it was pretty bad.
This whole show was pretty bad.
Which is
with the exception of a couple of bright moments.
Legitimately really interesting matches that I am interested in at Clash of Champions, but I'm not interested in them now because you've told me not to be because of how you've done how you booked the Go Home show. Like, I really don't. I mean, I want to see Owens versus Rollins, but after tonight, like right now, I don't. I will by Sunday, but right now, you've kind of beaten that out of me.
I wish that we could have a show where we glow over Raw like we did Backlash.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Like where we go in, because every Raw I'm not expecting anything special, just like Backlash. And Backlash really delivered. So I'm going to get into this Clash of Champions card. But first off, I want to give you all a couple of the headlines from Fightful.com. Boxing, Roy Jones Jr. considering retirement after suffering a torn bicep in his last fight. Canelo Alvarez suffers a broken thumb. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. You can see our full report of Canelo versus Smith, all kinds of stuff there. We're really adding to our boxing section, so go check that out as well. Lots of MMA news, obviously. The fallout of Chael Sonnen signing with Bellator. Cyborg says she needs to cut over 20 pounds still for this Friday. Dana White says there are no new women's divisions coming to the UFC, but then says maybe 125 pounds. Legacy Fighting and Resurrection Fighting Alliance merge into one promotion as the Legacy owner is going to be the new matchmaker in the UFC starting in 2017. Duke Rufus says that many MMA promoters are interested in CM Punk. No surprise there. Alan Juban says that he wants to fight the Big Show, and we have several fights added to the schedule. We do have our events page up and running. We're working on sorting those a little bit better, but our boy Alex has been manning those. Not the biggest MMA fan is Alex, but he's still doing a good job. So we cover every single event, guys. I'm talking MMA, pro wrestling, major boxing fights. We're really stepping up that boxing coverage because you all demanded it. But we have more live viewing parties than any website, period. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Cruiserweight Classic, if it comes back. Lucha Underground, TNA. We do Ring of Honor and New Japan coverage. We do pay-per-view coverage. Also, Invicta, UFC, Bellator, AFC. I didn't know what the hell AFC was until David Tease covered it on Saturday. I went on the site that I manage, the site that I have to approve what content goes up and down, and I see AFC viewing party. And I said, what the hell is this? And I was like, I'll be damned. That David Tease is at it again, covering everything in sight. A machine, that man. A machine. Very fortunate to have him. Also, Alex, tell these people a little bit about your reaction pieces that you do throughout the week.
Yeah, I do, like I say, live coverage of Raw and live coverage of Lucha Underground. Then I also do these reaction pieces come out the day after or 2 days after, which are Raw, the Uncooked Raw reaction, and the SmackDown React Down. And then I have the midweek wrestling wrap-up, which consists of NXT, Lucha Underground, and TNA, and that'll be out sometime before the weekend. So I try and get those out to you so you can hear, what happened, why, and why you should care.
Fantastic stuff, too, like really entertaining stuff. As I've said many times on these podcasts, you can get a recap anywhere, but you can only get Alex's at Fightful.com, and that's what we strive to do. We bring you all the news, every bit of news, pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing. We condense the smaller stories that don't mandate their own into our fight-size wrestling updates because we know what it's like when you're clicking every single thing. It's not that fun. It's not fun. Either way, here's this card for Clash of Champions. We have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Rusev, United States Championship. Charlotte defends against Sasha Banks and Bayley, Raw Women's Championship. The Tag Team Championship, New Day versus Gallows and Anderson. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. I'm assuming Enzo and Cass versus Shining Stars and Cesaro versus Sheamus to be added, as well as TJ Perkins defending against Brian Kendrick. Kay, what stands out to you the most? What two matches are you most looking forward to after this Raw, or just in general? Maybe you were looking forward to him going into this show, but either way, what are your top two matches on this program?
My top two matches are Mia Jax versus Alicia Fox on the pre-show.
Is that happening?
Yes,
Is that happening?
They announced that tonight. Yeah.
You know what? I'm pretty damn excited for that too because I love Alicia Fox.
Yeah, that's going to be the pre-show is must-see viewing now.
I want it because Alicia Fox is crazy.
Yeah.
Certified.
What's your other one? What's your other one?
Oh, yeah. I think.
Is that a bongo?
Oh, yes, it is a bongo. I have my bongo right here.
Didn't Mongo have a bongo? WCW? Or they sat something there and called it bongo.
Probably.
This has turned into the Nitro revisited show.
I want to see Chris Jericho. I want to see that match. Jericho versus Sami Zayn. It might be the sleeper match of the night.
I think it could be really good. Alex, how about yourself?
I've been wanting to see Owens versus Rollins in a real match with stuff on the line for a while. I think this may be where Rollins goes full babyface. Maybe he, if Triple H comes out, costs him the match, I think that's going to be something that might happen as well. I'm looking forward to that because those two guys can really go. And then, it was something I didn't think we were going to get this early, but I'm super down for Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley.
I'll tell you why I'm down for that. You know how competitive these three women are.
Yeah.
What has SmackDown, their women's division, went from us saying, man, this is really thin, to me, sarcastically, but not so sarcastically saying last week that the SmackDown women's division is the new SmackDown 6. Because those women have torn it up. They've just destroyed expectations. They've played to their strengths, hidden their weaknesses. And I know that Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Bayley are so competitive that they want to one-up what their SmackDown counterparts. Otherwise, I think that Roman Reigns and Rusev don't want to be I don't think they want to go under the radar because they had a real good match on Raw. And I think they can have another real good match. So I'm looking forward to that because Rusev's one of my favorite performers. I think Roman Reigns is an incredibly underrated performer.
Did you catch Rusev's Rocky IV nod earlier in the evening tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Go! That was the best thing that he's done in a while. I was happy about that. That was nice.
Kay, any parting words before we leave the people tonight?
Keep the hope alive. Raw's gonna get better. It can't get worse. It just can't. So, yes. Well, thanks for having me join you guys and give my 2 cents and my bongo.
And your plastics over that mattress back there to make sure nobody gets any blood on anything.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Very Dexter. Very Dexter.
Exactly. Always glad to have new faces on the show. You all might see some more new faces here and there. We're gonna have a few people revolving in and out. As you all know, I figured I'd address this. Rob is not on the show. He had some other commitments and things of that nature, but still on very good terms. Hopefully, we can have him guest on shows here and there. And he's gonna eat a hat. CM Punk fought, so he's gonna have to eat the hat. It won't be on Fightful, but we will direct you there. Also, we have a Shake Them Ropes co-host, Jeff Hawkins, still on Tuesdays, which you all can check out right after SmackDown. Alex, anything to tell the people before we go? You're covering not Night of Champions, Clash of Champions this Sunday, correct?
I am. I'm covering Clash of Champions, and I'll be on the post-show podcast after that.
Damn.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Pawlowski the Fourth. That's PAWLOWSKITHE, the numeral 4TH.
Guys, follow us at Fightful Online on Twitter and Facebook. That way you get all of our stories. Share them on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook groups really helps too because a lot of people see that. The more traffic we get, the more exclusives we can bring you, the more new podcasts we can bring you, the more new faces we can bring you, things of that nature. Very young website, just 2.5 months in, and we're doing pretty well so far. It's really exceeded expectations for me, and I had pretty high expectations. But fortunately, we have a really great team, and like I said, guys, more viewing parties than anybody else. We have great analysis from people inside the business. We have sources that keep us connected to UFC. I mean, literally, just people on our staff are connected to Evolve, PWG, Titan FC, Ryzen, Rocky Mountain Pro, things of that nature. So we have it covered from the big promotions, WWE and UFC, all the way down to indie and regional promotions. I want to thank you guys so much. Please let people know about Fightful.com and the Fightful.com podcast. Until tomorrow night after SmackDown, guys, we are out.